I define worship as using powerful engines of learning to raise ideas in your decisional balance so that they gain purchase over your behavior. That's a mouthful. Let me break it down. So it's like often you'll have values that you cherish, ideas that you cherish, and you would love to live your life by them, right? You want to have your actions conform to these values or these above truths, right? But you can't make yourself do so. And why is that? You know? And I think that's where worship comes in. And I think religious services, if you look at them, they've tapped into something over what, thousands of years, if not more. All these powerful engines of learning that some of them I think psychological research hasn't even caught on to yet. But so already, like, if you look at the engines of learning, the most powerful engines of learning, what are they? They're heightened emotion, heightened attention, heightened motivation. When you feel these things, you learn things better, right? It registers better. But you look at religious services and what are they employing? What are the technologies that are employing to make people make it so that these above truths, these greater truths that people would like to live their lives by, how do they make it so that they raise in your mind, so that they inform your actions more than other ideas that you encounter, let's say on Instagram or whatever, and you don't want them to be infiltrating your mind, right? And it's a lot more than just heightened emotion, heightened attention, heightened motivation, whatever. These things are there, and that's awesome. But it's also stuff like being around people, physical synchrony, um, music, chanting, stained glass windows, spires, large architecture, all these things that are going to impress on you deeply, right? Like it's kind of going to emotions like awe, all these self-transcendent emotions, a lot more emotions that you would get in conventional therapy or something, or even sitting in a classroom. And I think these are key to unlocking a type of learning that goes deeper and higher, better, has a greater effect on you than anything else you might encounter in any other domain of life, right? And so I think that's what worship is. And I think if you want to live your life by these above truths, then you should start incorporating worship into your life. It doesn't, and this is kind of a more secular view of worship, although I think it's also deeply spiritual. It's something that everyone can make use of, and I think everyone should make use of, because there are so many influences coming your way in this kind of atomistic society. Like, just everything's bombarding you, and you can lose yourself in that, right? Being bombarded like that, and you start living your life by standards that you would not opt for if in a kind of cold state or like impassionate state. If you were to just sit down in front of, let's have a piece of paper in front of you, or to write down what are the values you would like to live your life by, you'll find that most often your life, you start exhibiting behaviors or experiencing emotions or stuff that doesn't align with those things, right? And I've realized over a while now that when I have different technologies like these worship practices, and I actually like the concept Vervaeke uses, ecology of practices. When you have these different types of worships like regularly, frequently in your life, whether it's little proverbs you memorize or going to church every Sunday, watching inspirational movies on a regular basis, listening to songs that profess things that are good, beautiful, surrounding yourself with people who try to live by better values, whatever. Like, all these, I think I classify them all as worship, because all these things are going to bring up certain ideas to the fore so that you live your life by them, these above truths. You raise them in your decisional balance and you live according to them rather than other things. So just to kind of bring it home with a personal example, just one example is, there's this Hindu or yoga phrase, Sat Chit Ananda, means existence, consciousness, bliss. I'm not going to get into the metaphysical baggage here, but for me, that just, what it means to me is that I exist, I'm conscious, and so there's bliss, right? And so one of the virtues in Hinduism or yoga is something called upeka, or equanimity. And Stoicism also holds this up as a virtue, equanimity. It's kind of staying solid, staying level-headed through both good and bad. Not just the bad, even through the good. Like, when something really good befalls you, sometimes it's easy to get carried away and feel a lot of pride or feel a lot of joy, whatever. It's not a bad thing, but it's when you kind of leave yourself prone when you give into that too much, because these are the vicissitudes of life that come and go, and you have no control over them. Even emotions, to some extent, yes, you can have an influence over them, but not directly. It's through other means, like say through your thoughts or something, I think, at least. And so even though these emotions come and go, these ups and downs of life come and go, there's still a reason to be happy constantly, and that's because you exist and you're conscious. I exist and I'm conscious, and so whatever good and bad is going on in my life day to day, whatever the quotidian affairs are, whatever shit's going on, there's still always a reason to be happy. And the thing is, it's not always easy to sustain that, because when you lose sight of that, and you start getting caught up in the ups and downs of life, then entitlement creeps in, right? It's not enough anymore to be happy for the reason of just existing and being conscious, right? And I'm not saying don't go for more, right? Like, of course, that's if you really subscribe to Hinduism and yoga and stuff, then you realize that all of life is play, and creation is play. Like you don't really have a choice in this. Like your whole dopamine system propels you forward, right? So just because you're just feeling happy for the sake of existing and being conscious doesn't mean you're not going to chase after things, not going to go after things, not going to try and create and play in the world in a constructive fashion, right? But the point is that even if that's not available to you, even if shit's happening to you, you're experiencing downs or whatever, you can still remain equanimous and also even happy and peaceful, content, because there's no entitlement. You're not entitled to shit. The fact that you exist, the fact that you're conscious, the fact that I'm conscious is reason enough to be happy. There are many reasons over and above that, but it's reason enough. And I need to keep bringing it home to myself as a worship with frequent reminders, so I start living my life this way and being happy regardless of whatever else is going on. Otherwise, it's too easy to fall into entitlement. It always creeps in. Like, you start thinking, shit, what if I had this? What if I had that? Like, why is this happening to me? But there is no reason to even go there. And it gives you more control over yourself, more control over your own thoughts and your state, more control over your emotions indirectly even, when you can hold up these above truths in your own mind, lift them over the other ideas, give them more weight, right? Like artificial intelligence research, whatever, similar. Like you're weighting certain ideas, weighting certain influences, so that they govern you more than other things would. So I guess that's that on the importance of worship, I guess, and what that means to me, and what I've been doing so far to live my life according to these above truths. How and why I've been instilling more spirituality into my life. Yeah, thanks.